Welcome everyone. So this is going to be our first video in a series for purchasing a home. So our home buying series is going to take you from beginning to end on what it'll take to really become a homeowner, and also just to give you a good, clear understanding of what you're getting into before you get into the process. So first step, there's a reason this is the first recommended step, is to speak with a lender. These can also be termed mortgage officer, loan officer, mortgage originator, banker. There's all kinds of terms for them, but essentially this is going to be the person that is heading up your loan. They may be your point of contact. Sometimes they will have someone else that serves as the point of contact, but essentially this is going to be the person handling your loan, ensuring you can get financing and helping that financing make it from beginning to end. So biggest tips I can give you for choosing a lender is ensure it's someone you're comfortable with, non-intimidated by, and someone that you can communicate with and understand clearly. It's really crucial to have someone that you can understand, and feel free to ask whatever questions you may have, no matter how stupid you may think they are. There's no stupid question for this process because it's all new to a lot of people. Even non-first time buyers typically don't go through this process more than a few times in their lives. So a good loan officer will understand this, just like a good agent will, and be willing to work with you, sit down with you, and go through different options for you, whatever may work best. If you're not qualified at this time, they should also be able to give you some advice on what it'll take to get qualified. What are the best steps to get your credit score raised and get into a position to be able to purchase a home? So something else to keep in mind when you're talking to lenders. And in the end, remember that you are choosing them. You are the boss. You're hiring them. Treat it as such. Don't let them belittle you. Don't let any person along this process feel like you're asking the wrong questions or just foreign to this process. We understand that, and that should be taken into consideration by any decent professional. No one should really be pushy through this process other than ensuring that you understand time is of the essence, because there are times where you will need to be rushed, but pushing you in any specific direction is not something we ever need to do unless we just understand that you really want a particular home. But even then, it's going to be your decision in the end, and everyone along this way should understand that. So there are a couple different ways you can go about talking with a lender. You can get pre-qualified, which is essentially just getting a credit report ran and having a rough view of who you are as a buyer. You can also get fully pre-approved, which is a much better way to approach the process, in my opinion. I think everyone will agree with this. It includes providing a lender with bank statements, pay stubs, W-2s, tax returns, documents that essentially back up what you're telling them on the application, and also what your credit report's reflecting. So these are things that'll have to be submitted eventually, no matter what. It's better to just get ahead of the curve and go ahead and send it to them and have a good idea of really what you can afford ahead of time. Pre-qualifications are just a very rough picture of who you are as a borrower and don't really provide the full depth of everything when it comes to your finances. The other thing for finances to keep in mind is the lender is looking at credit expenses, but they don't have a clue what you're spending monthly on groceries or hobbies, whatever expenses you may have that don't come up on a credit report. These are things that you have to take into consideration and really budget to figure out what you're comfortable paying each month. Only you know what you're going to be comfortable paying each month for a mortgage payment. So the way I like to tell people to approach this is to tell the lender what you want to pay, and then let them tell you a purchase price based on that. Don't let them give you a max purchase price only to find out once you get the offer written that your payment's going to be $500 higher than what you're really comfortable with. So just something to keep in mind when you're talking to them as well. And then you'll also have an APR interest rate that you can shop, and just a typical standard interest rate. APR rate is going to give you a much better depiction of the costs associated with the loan versus just the basic interest rate, which doesn't really figure those in. So whenever you're shopping interest rates, make sure you're looking at that APR interest rate, not just the basis interest rate. And then beyond that, make sure you're not making any large deposits that can't be explained. There should be deposits relating to your W-2 or pay stubs only. Any other large deposits, the lender's going to want some type of explanation of where that money came from. And in addition, make sure you're tampering down your credit purchases quite a bit. The less credit you have, the better off you'll be over your 30-year loan or 15-year loan, whatever you may be doing. So keep your credit purchases down. Keep your credit or payments on time. That's crucial. And don't be making any large deposits that can't be explained. Those are just some tips for whenever you're buying a home or leading up to that process. So beyond that, I will recommend always ask about any first-time buyer programs if you are a first-time home buyer. Even if you aren't, there may still be some decent programs out there through SC Housing that may help you whether you're a first-time buyer or not. So just ask your lender. Don't be afraid to ask these difficult questions for them. They should be willing to help you out and answer them for you. So other than that, I do want to give a shout out to Artie Cato at Palmetto Mortgage. I refer plenty of clients to him and always have a great experience. So if you ever need someone, they are definitely my recommendation. But again, this is always something worth shopping around. So I hope this helps, and we'll have a few more videos coming for this home buying series.